Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from MA Bilingual Muslimat NU Sidoarjo, proudly present module of biology about biodiversity. وَاضْرِبْ لَهُمْ مَثَلَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا كَمَاءٍ أَنزَلْنَاهُ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ فَاخْتَلَطَ بِهِ نَبَاتُ الْأَرْضِ فَأَصْبَحَ حَثِيمًا تَذْرُوهُ الرِّيَاحُ وَكَانَ اللَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ مُقْتَدِرًا. And give them variables human. The life of the world is rainwater that we send down from the sky. Then it's become fertile because of the plant on the earth. Then the plant become dry and blown by the wind. And is Allah Almighty over all things. Okay, now let's start learn about biodiversity.
Hello everyone, today we are going to discuss about the biodiversity. So before we gonna discuss more about this, do you know what is biodiversity? Basically, biodiversity is the diversity of living things based on its differences in characteristics that can be known through the observation. In this discussion, we will divide the diversity itself into three, which is the genetic level diversity, species level diversity, and the last is ecosystem level diversity. As what I mentioned before, today we're gonna discuss from the genetic level diversity first. What is genetic level diversity? It is a diversity that occurs because of the diversity of gene makeup. The set of genes determines the characteristics and the traits possessed by an individual. So, genetic level diversity is affected by three things. It occurs because of diversity gene setup. It brings up variations between individuals within species, and this causes there are no individuals the exact same or similar, identical. These are the example of genetic level diversity. Mango family. Maybe you will be familiar with this one. Why mango includes as genetic level diversity? As you know that there are many types of mangoes such as manalagi, golek, gadung, sweet arum, or apple. From the side of the fruit, the mangoes have a different taste and texture, as well as in terms of the physical appearance of the plant, but all of them is including as mangoes. And you can learn by yourself for another example. The previous example is appeared on the plant and fruits, also the animals. And for this example, we will know the genetic level diversity in humans. In humans, there is a diversity of genes that appeared by different traits, such as the body size, skin color, eye color, and hair shape. Or you can look at your friends. Are they similar with you, or all of them are different? The second level of biodiversity is the species level diversity. So why can diversity occur at the species level? In contrast to genetic diversity, This diversity of species indicates the number and variety of types of organisms. And you have to underline this one. This diversity can occur due to the influence of genetic content with their habitat. So, they involve the habitat to make the diversity at this level. One of the examples of the species level diversity is the Araceae family, or we know as palm. There are 5 types of palm. This is an example of this species diversity. Palm tree, which has the Latin name is Arenga pinnata, and pinang, whose Latin name is Areca catechu. Palm tree habitat that usually grows in the mountains has a leaf structure that is much different from the coconut trees that grow on the beach. This difference in habitat is what caused each plant to have special characteristics of each species. The last level of biodiversity is the ecosystem level diversity. As we know that each ecosystem has its own uniqueness and special characteristics. It describes the type of population of organism in area. This is indicated by the differences in abiotic factors and also the composition of the organism population type. Therefore, we can say that ecosystem level diversity is describe the type of population organism in a region. It's shown as its differences in abiotic factors, and it's shown by the different composition of population types of organism. This is the example of ecosystem level diversity. Tropical rainforest. Forest is a biome in the form of a forest, always wet or damp, which can be found in the area around the equator, which is approximately 0 degree 10 degree latitude to the north and south of equator. This tropical rainforest can also be interpreted as forests located in tropical regions that have high rainfall rate. Tropical rainforests are home to half the species of flora and fauna throughout the world. The next example is deciduous forest, which is a forest with plant characteristic in winter, with the deciduous leaves. It forms in areas with character of evenly distributed rainfall throughout the year. It is around 75 till 100 cm per year. It has 4 seasons, and plant species diversity is much lower than in the tropical forest. The next example is desert, which is an area that receives little rainfall rate. It is less than 250 mm per year. Deserts are considered to have a little ability to support life normally. Meadow is ecosystem without trees, or except for those near the rivers or lakes, which are generally covered with only the short grass. The next example is savanna. It is a grassland located in the area near the equator. It's marked by vegetation dominated by grasses and shrubs, but it also interspersed with trees such as eucalyptus trees, as depicted in the figure below. Another ecosystem is the tundra, which is a biome where tree growth is inhibited by low ambient temperature. Therefore, this is called a treeless area. Tundra is usually found in the northern region of the Earth, in Arctic cycle. It also found near Antarctica and is found on high mountain peaks. Coniferous forests. The forest which dominated by coniferous vegetation or conifers, mostly found in temperate to cold climates and has the characteristic of vegetation that have relatively the same height, straight trunk, and conical shape such as pine, polluted, and cedar. Another example comes from under the sea ecosystem, the coral reefs. Coral reefs are underwater, as what I mentioned before. It consists of groups of coral animals that form the structure of calcium carbonate, a kind of limestone. This ecosystem is a living habitat for various marine animals. Coral reefs together with mangrove forests are important ecosystems that store the biodiversity in the sea. In terms of biodiversity, the coral reefs are thought as tropical forests in the ocean. So after we know much things about the biodiversity, what is the benefits of the presence of biodiversity? These are some benefits from biodiversity. 1. It can be used as a source of germplasm. Germplasm is a substance carrying offspring traits that can be intact organs or parts of plants or animals or other microorganisms. It is a natural resource that is very valuable for the advancement of science and technology to support the national, also international development. The second is it can improve the ecosystem productivity. Ecosystem productivity is the whole system expressed by biomass or bioenergy within a certain period of time. This is an important measurement parameter in determining the total energy flow through all trophy levels of an ecosystem. The biodiversity is also helped in conserve soil and water. Integrated forest management is also an effort to conserve soil and water. Indonesia has dozens of watersheds or DAS that are closely related to the issue of soil and water conservation, where forests are the main buffer. It also will help the waste processing organic waste into the biogas. Biodiversity also helps the climate regulation. Rainforests help stabilize the world's climate by absorbing the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. The disposal of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere is believed to have an effect on climate change through global warming. And rainforests also affect local weather conditions by making rain and regulating the temperatures. So it's not too hot and it's not too cold, because we need to live in a normal temperature. The diversity is also affect the social and cultural values. Why? For example, is the life of rural people who live in the forest. The life on the island tribes certainly contributes to cultural diversity. Last but not least, why biodiversity is important. Biodiversity is one of the facilities for the development of science, education, recreation, and also tourism. So after we know what is the benefit of the biodiversity, can biodiversity reducing? Yes, it can. By what? Some of the human activities can reduce the biodiversity. For example, habitat destruction and change in plant type, use of pesticides and environmental pollution, illegal logging and clearing of forests, excessive utilization of living natural resources, illegal mining and hunting. So as a wise human, we have to keep our biodiversity exist. Some human activities to preserve the biodiversity is in situ breeding, namely the breeding of rare living things in their natural habitat. For example, establishing a nature reserve. And the second is ex situ breeding, namely breeding rare living creatures outside their natural habitat. For example, captivity of animal in the zoo. So this is the end of our discussion about biodiversity today. I hope you can understand about what is biodiversity, the classification of biodiversity, its benefit, and also how to keep the biodiversity exist. So thank you everyone.
Okay, for your exercise, please listen the question. Indonesia is a rich country, but human and natural resources. But similar to other countries in the world, Indonesia is now experiencing a pandemic. Yes, corona outbreak caused by the COVID-19 virus. The spread of this virus is very fast. Until now, Indonesia has lost a lot of its human resource, which will certainly have an effect on its natural resource as well. So, please analyze the relationship between human resource and natural resource, then predict how the condition of Indonesia, especially its biodiversity, if the virus is not stopped.